So guys, this wasn't really a movie. It wasn't even an episode. This was basically a test for us fans. A test to see whether we actually want more Punisher or not. And I can proudly say, yes, I absolutely want more Frank Castle. Because if you even remove the credits Punisher, One Last Kill is only around 44 minutes long. Honestly, they could have just released this as a bonus episode of Daredevil and nobody would have complained. But in comics, these kinds of one-shot stories happen all the time, where the main character goes through one major event. And most of the time, these stories are also made to test the audience, to see how badly people want this character or this storyline. And let me tell you something, the hype for Punisher is not fake. One Last Kill proves that people still care deeply about Frank Castle. Jon Bernthal still has that sauce, and this time, he even helped write the story himself. One thing that really surprised me was how, despite the short runtime, they managed to cover a massive turning point in Frank Castle's life and actually wrap it up. Usually, we spend entire episodes waiting for Frank to get revenge, but here, they casually reveal through a newsflash that Frank already got his revenge. He finished it, his mission is complete, and now, he has nothing left to live for. He got revenge, he lived his life, so what's left? And you can feel all that trauma right from the opening. Frank is completely broken. He goes to his wife and daughter's grave, ready to give up, but then he gets those visions, you already know the kind. And after that, he heads back to his apartment. That's when he meets Ma Gnucci, or Gnucci, however you want to pronounce it, and she becomes his one last kill. She tells Frank about her own trauma, about how she lost her family one by one, just like him. She talks about the pain, the hunger, the rage she carries, and then she reveals something huge. Frank himself killed them all. Frank is responsible. And then she basically puts a John Wick-style bounty on him. After a certain time, every small-time crook and criminal around the city starts hunting Frank down. Whoever kills him gets paid. That's when the real action begins. Now I'll say this. The action is genuinely good. For such a small and self-contained setup, they handled it really well. And they went hardcore with it. You can clearly see the effort put into the fight choreography. But I still can't call it perfect, because the lack of budget and scale is noticeable. Usually in Hollywood projects, these kinds of flaws are hidden well. But here you can actually spot them. Some of the wire work looked mid. The CGI was below average in certain scenes, especially that rooftop fall shot. And the fact they used slow motion there almost made it feel like they were forcing us to notice the weak CGI. And throughout the action, one thing kept bothering me. You know how in music there's a moment where the beat is supposed to fully explode? This show constantly stays just below that level. It never fully crosses the line into complete chaos, which honestly makes it obvious that this special was designed as a test to see audience react, ions, to figure out whether people want a full movie, another season, or more Punisher content in general. And if Marvel really is testing us, then yes, this worked. The story still has substance. Frank Castle's character still matters. And after seeing this recovery arc, I genuinely want to see how Frank handles his life moving forward in the greater MCU. There's also one aspect of the story I found unintentionally funny, the relationship between Frank and Karen. The show makes it very clear that Frank doesn't just care about Karen as a friend. He feels something much deeper and more romantic for her. And honestly, Netflix's Punisher already hinted at this pretty clearly, and this special repeats that exact same idea. But the funny thing is, Karen never fully lets that line get crossed. Even in emotional moments, she pulls things back because obviously it would complicate everything. The whole Daredevil Punisher Karen dynamic would get messy. You can tell there is a moment between them. Frank genuinely sees Karen as comfort, maybe even a second chance at love. But then reality kicks in and both of them realize, no, this would be wrong. Karen's true emotional connection is still Matt. But every time I think about this dynamic, I can't help but laugh a little because Frank really acts like Karen is the only woman left on Earth. Like, bro, there are other women out there too. Relax a little. At the end of the story, we also get a brand new Punisher costume. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm not worried either because superhero shows constantly change their suits anyway. And I do like the fact that Marvel is showing so much confidence in the character. First One Last Kill, then Brand New Day. And after that, I'm 100% sure Marvel already has more plans for Punisher. Fans clearly want more, and Marvel knows it. Now, the only question is whether they continue his story through another show or through a movie. And honestly, I really hope after Brand New Day we eventually get a black screen that says Spider-Man, Hulk, and Punisher will return in their solo projects. Yes, I'm greedy, extremely greedy. And who knows, maybe if Frank Castle returns in the movie side of the MCU, Marvel could even move him towards something like a Midnight Sun storyline. And trust me, when Punisher goes unhinged, he goes completely insane. Overall though, I really enjoyed this. The opening especially was incredible. The way they creatively portrayed Frank's mental state felt like peak Punisher storytelling. Deep, emotional, psychological, it was genuinely fascinating to watch. You truly understand how mentally broken Frank Castle is. My only real complaint is the runtime. It's way too short, and the action never fully crosses that final chaos barrier where things become absolutely insane. This should have gone full guns blazing, but at the same time, I understand the limitations. This was made on a smaller scale with limited resources, so instead of attempting massive action sequences, they focused on delivering one strong, memorable experience. And in that aspect, they delivered. So yeah, Marvel, if this really was a test, then my answer is yes. I want more Punisher stories. I want Marvel to trust this character even more. Anyway, I absolutely loved it. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And until then, keep watching Cosmo Scollar.